Let's get a reaction on this proposal. We're now joined in studio by City of Tshwane ANC spokesperson Bafuze Yabo, as well as the ACDP chairperson in the Metro, that's Ronald Morake. Gentlemen, a pleasure to have you both on the program this evening. As you heard in the package compiled by my colleague Ziniko Mhlaba, some describing this move as costly and unnecessary. What's the ANC's take, Bafuze?
Thank you, Nhlanhla. I think we agree that this is an unnecessary exercise. We may note that other municipalities have deputy mayors.
Yeah. And
you may have that in other metros. But in the case of Tshwane, that should not be the priority. What we are seeing here now is a nigger arrangement between the DA and the Action SA. Because Action SA keeps every other month, threatens the DA with leaving the marriage. And so it's as if it's some political mavoso. That no, you have come with me into this political bid, let me give you something in return. It will not serve the people of Tshwane. It does not even have the people of Tshwane at the center of it. It's just a political nigga here.
Quite interesting, the remarks being made by Bafuze, Ronald. As the ACDP, what is your take on this move? I mean, the name of Dr. Nasipi Moya has come up as a candidate for this particular position. But have you welcomed this move, or has it been met by some apprehension from the side of the ACDP?
Coalition agreement. The original coalition agreement gives the Action SA the deputy mayor position. And in our opinion, we support the deputy mayor positions in the sense that as the ACDP, we are very uncomfortable with the acting mayor always coming from the DA side. It will be a good balance, in my opinion, apart from the original coalition agreement. But now to have the acting mayor coming from the DA and the mayor in most of the times is really it's not good for business.
Bafuze, we've heard from Ronald as well, but I want us to zoom in a bit closer into the issues that are at play in the city of Tshwane. We hear countless times of the issues around the Rooiwal water treatment, as well as issues over workers demanding salary increases as well. In your view, and given your assessment of all the problems in the city of Tshwane, what do you think is required to see some of these issues being addressed?
And this is the point we consistently make. You need to have a plan for the financial recovery of the city. It is an open secret that the city's revenue collection capabilities have been compromised for years now. The DA has been in charge, leading coalitions since 2016. They have not put together a single concrete plan. In actual fact, they've been stumbling through mayor, with scandals following each and every one of those mayors who've fallen on their own sword. What we need now is a plan that's concrete enough to say this is how we are going to pull the city out of the quagmire of the financial mess it finds itself in. A mess which was created by the DA-led coalition, by the way.
The question is how?
They should put together a plan and communicate with everyone inside council. And you cannot draw a metro as big as Tshwane on the basis of a few political parties who agree and because they have a 50% plus one, and then you think you are good to go. When you are leaving behind the vast majority of the constituency in the city, which consists of 70 wards, which are led by ANC councillors, ward councillors, you leave behind such a huge constituency. You focus on a minority of the city, and on the basis of the fact that you've won the vote on a coalition that you've put together, and you are able to formulate a government, you leave behind this huge constituency that is left to its own. It doesn't have sanitation. Water is a challenge. Like you've mentioned with the Rooiwal saga. You have challenges with the collection of waste. You have all these challenges. You're not focusing on, let's come together, sit on the table and see how we resolve these things together. No, you would rather say, let's have a deputy mayor. What is that going to help? Will it help an enhanced revenue collection in the city? I don't think so. The reason why we are sitting on this problem, in fact, is because the constituency, even that of the DA, has locked their pockets. because they are not receiving services. And it's a strike by the residents of the city. To pay for a service that does not exist is a crime. And they are not doing it. We must be able to say the DA-led coalition must prove itself on this matter, not putting on extra positions to pacify your partners, the political partners, and leave the whole constituency in the city of Tshwane to their own devices. It's not right, it's wrong.
Ronald, a similar segue as we touch on some of the service-related issues or also employee-related issues facing the city of Tshwane as well. Give us a sense of how this deputy mayor position will then help address some of the issues within the city of Tshwane. What are your expectations?
Look, my expectations are actually more political than administrative, in the sense that I'd rather have in a coalition a sense of a coalition that is balanced. For me, the domination of the DA in terms of it being the mayor, and also because of the acting mayor usually is a leader of executive business who is obviously in the DA. It doesn't work for me in that sense because I feel with the Action SA as a deputy mayor, it's able to advance service delivery, mostly in the townships. I do not want to make this an issue of political parties, but it's politics. It is what it is. Most of the councillors of Action SA come from the townships, and whatever happens in the townships affects them. So for me, it's good for business.
It's quite interesting that Ronald raises the issue of having to service the townships in Tshwane specifically, because a number of times it is quite well documented to hear some of the grievances raised by residents, especially in townships, which many a times you'll hear the sentiment that residents in Tshwane townships are often neglected. Do you have a similar observation to this?
Yes, it's true. The people in townships are neglected by the city. Service delivery is at appalling levels in the townships. And the Auditor General, by the way, we should not forget that the Auditor General released a scathing report about the city of Tshwane and the governing DA coalition. That seems to have escaped the short-term memory of the DA-led coalition. That the AG released a scathing report against the city, the worst of its kind, since the establishment of the city of Tshwane in its current form. You cannot overlook that and say the AGSA, who is now an authority in relation to auditing organs of state, having said that the city of Tshwane is the worst performing municipality across the country, and people are concerned about palace politics, appeasing one another with positions that are not necessary. We don't deny the fact that deputy mayor positions are there in other municipalities, like I've said before. But is it necessary for Tshwane? No. What should be the priority now? Being able to deliver services, rudimentary and otherwise, to the constituencies that deserve these services, and not being concerned about palace politics. What we are seeing here is the DA being concerned with palace politics, the same way they are concerned with the politics of supporting Israel over speaking over a genocide. And this is what we are observing with the DA-led coalition here in Tshwane, that they are not concerned with service delivery, servicing the masses of the people on the ground. They are concerned with playing palace politics. In actual fact, I put it to you, Nhlanhla, that Brink is the worst mayor we've had. Since he came in, he has been on a belligerent spree trying to prove a point that he's got power, he can cut down workers, he can stop them from getting their monies. And that's what he has been, just animosity through and through. It cannot be. People of the city, including the workers, need to feel that they are part of this machine, the big machine called the city of Tshwane, a capital city of the Republic of South Africa. It cannot be treated like a circus where you have clowns and bozos all around playing as if it's not what it's supposed to be, a capital city of this country. We say, and we will emphatically say this again and again, the city must enhance its revenue collection capabilities and strengthen them, and ensure that that money is put to good use in making sure that services get to the people. That's it. That's what we want.
Ronald, as we wrap up our conversation, you would know that coalition arrangements or partnerships have been tested in this country, and many still say there are lessons to be learned. But in the case of Tshwane, what is required to bring order and stability in this particular region?
The only thing that has to be done is to enhance revenue collection. We need a political will from the mayor. And that balance, for me, comes in very handy because, for an example, Oliver Note Boss has got a huge number of water meter services that are not connected to the grid. So, and we have a majority of our people whose electric meters are not working. So basically it's millions and millions of revenue collection that is lost simply because there is no political will to address the issue. And the deputy mayor, basically when the deputy mayor is there, has got full powers, will not be necessarily consulting with the mayor, will have full powers in the absence of mayor to make decisions and possibly even unfavorable decisions, although some may seem like two centers of power, but if it works for the townships, it works for me.
Bafuze, for the sake of fairness, I'll pose the same question to you as well. What is required to bring stability and order to the city of Tshwane, in your view, from the ANC side?
What needs to happen, and I will reiterate what I said earlier, is that the political leadership of the city that is running government needs to focus on the bare necessities. The bare necessities are to focus on those needs which are most immediate to communities, and making sure that money to fulfill those needs is found. And that money is going to be found in enhancing revenue collection mechanisms and strengthening that part of the municipality. But also to ensure that you do not incur losses with the little revenue that you have coming in through corruption, which we have seen, by the way, historically from the DA, that there has been rampant corruption that they want to push under the rug. Those things must be stemmed, and the tide must be stemmed now, so that you are able to stabilize the capability of the city to deliver on its mandate as a local government.
Gentlemen, let me thank you both for your time. That was Tshwane ANC spokesperson Bafuze Yabo, as well as the ACDP's chairperson in the Metro Municipality, Ronald Morake, of course giving us their perspective about the candidature of a deputy mayor for the city of Tshwane.